What has your experience been like working in the field of responsible AI, and especially compared to your experience in the corporate sector? And are there notable differences in approach or challenges?
Yeah. I think what I've seen is that it's again interesting because, like I said, it, the technology does not evolve in a vacuum. And you then also very much see it's a reflection of society, but also it's a reflection of the organizations. So even if you have organizations that, for instance, try to implement responsible AI, will say that they are active in responsible AI and want to advise others in this area, where you then also look at how, for instance, the corporate world that I have been part of for a few years, how that is structured, how it operates. The business practices are not always necessary, and the way they treat the way people are treated within organizations isn't necessarily that ethical or that responsible. So that's then also one of the problems again, that you say, for what reason are people doing it? Are you doing responsible AI because you see this new business opportunity? This is now because the regulation is there. It's in Europe, organizations might think, okay, now we need to do it. Now there's really a market for it to be active in it. And that's a different mindset than, of course, you said, okay, it's an important thing to invest in, to be active in. And that's something that I really saw in corporate the last few years also, is that the motivation to be involved in responsible AI, that is often it has been lacking. And even when I saw people that were active in it, often it has also, like I said, it has been more for the business opportunity with that mindset. So I think that's has been a tricky thing to be active in this, because, like I said, there are people that have been talking about the issues for a long time, but it took them a long time for for it to be taken seriously. And now we have this regulation in Europe. That's nice. It is a first start. Then let's all see how it will affect the rest of the world, and but also need to see how will Europe actually also pick it up, because also when it comes to that track record, I'm just honest, Europe and ethics, that the history is not necessarily that great always. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So I think that has been my experience. Even though I find this thing important, I think that it is very much tied to society. And what I've also seen is that sometimes, for instance, when there is has been an issue in AI, or there was a certain scandal with data or whatever, sometimes also the people point very much to the technology as if it's a technology issue. But then again, I'm like, it's not the technology issue. Like, the technology is not actually intelligent. The term is in that sense misleading. It's kind of an umbrella term used for a lot of things nowadays, but because you use it all the time, like, words have power. And like, if every time you say artificial intelligence, then it feels like you're dealing with a real intelligence. But that then also is a way to, what I've seen, that people might shift the responsibility towards AI, while it actually lies with humans. Because even the term responsible AI, that the human element has also been taken out of that, actually, because you say, I'm working in responsible AI. Well, actually, humans are the ones that need to be responsible and develop the AI in a responsible manner. That's actually what we do. So that's something that I always stress, that human element is very important in there, and that, there's always a backdrop. And things when you look at, it's like, for instance, in my country, like I now live I was born and raised in the Netherlands. I also still live here. And things like we had, in our last election, like we had a party that is actually very much a far right party that has got the majority of the votes. But that's also then a backdrop against the work that we're doing, because you see the developments also in other countries. So you can be working in responsible AI, but in a society where you see certain directions that don't necessarily comply with the idea of responsible AI, or for instance, we look at ethics and you're considering the social impact and consider like norms and values. That is something that I've very much experienced within corporate and within society, that there is, you could say, a mismatch between the ideal of responsible AI and ethical AI, and the reality that I see in how organizations operate, political realities that I see in a lot of countries. So that is, one of the challenges that I see there. And that's the reality of it. And like, I'm someone who just, tells it like it is. I try to do that all the time, because like, if you really want to make changes, then you need to be real about these things also. And the reality is that the problems that we are facing when it comes to ethics and societal impacts, that is not really a technology issue. It has to do with human nature and how society structured and operates. And I think it's important that we really also have to focus on that if we want to have a real impact with responsible AI.